Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spark Live. We are here on New Year Eve Eve. We did Christmas Eve Eve, and now we're New Year Eve Eve. Carter is driving back from his vacation, so I am blessed to have Mr. Jonathan Sanders doing the Spark Live with us today. How you doing, Jonathan?
Doing well.
Good, good. Well, we have to do this first. Here we go. All right, we are back. So here we are, guys, and I really am glad this really worked out well. I planned these like way in advance, usually a month or two in advance, and this just happened to be planned uh, to go over audio, video, really photos and video, but we're going to talk about some good audio too in there, um, and why you need to have original stuff. So it was great that it worked out, Jonathan, that you're here. So what are we talking about? Marketing is going all visuals. That means photos, videos, and of course, if you're doing video, you need to have good audio in there. So,
That's right.
those are kind of the things that happen. So, when you talk about going all visuals, it really makes sense because we're getting so used to social media. Wouldn't you say,
Right.
Jonathan?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you look at a lot of, I was just remarking the other day how if you watch a news broadcast, not certainly since COVID started, but I think this might be even be here to stay. You see people doing Zoom calls over broadcast interviews. You see people are just used to seeing that sort of informal, not behind a professional camera type stuff, and social media is another place where they see that.
We see that a lot, yeah. And I think that's another thing that we're going to get into as well. Just kind of go in here and see exactly why that is and why it's so enticing to use original images. So let's just talk about original images real quick.
Okay.
Um, so one of the things that I tell people all the time, I love when you have original images, especially of your team on your team page, your about us page, those kind of things. When you do that on a website and you use those, people want to see who's coming to their house these days.
Oh, that's absolutely right. And there used to be, I mean, you used to have professional photos taken, put stuff in a brochure, have a print designer do all that for you. You haven't had to do that in a while now. I mean, we're almost to 2022. It's so easy to take pictures of your employees, put them up on social, and talk a little bit about them. Tell them a little bit about this person that they're going to see at their house.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. I also tell people make sure your text wears some kind of a badge or identifier of some kind
Right. With
as
their face
well.
on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was real interesting. I read about this periodically, but on the news the other day. Of course, we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and if you've been living under a rock, you may not have seen this, but we got hit with a horrendous day a few weeks back, and we've got some communities both here in Tennessee and Kentucky that have just been devastated, and so they've had to come out and tell people to be real careful about people coming around to your property representing themselves as FEMA, and so gave them all the things that they need to look for that a FEMA employee would have. And I
Right.
thought, that's one of the things that we don't realize. But here in home service business, Carter and I have actually heard some really horrific stories about, especially women who are home who thought that they were letting in the right person and it wasn't the right person and had some devastating consequences from that. So I think it's real important to do that and make sure that people know when they come into your home who they are.
Right.
The other thing I think is real important is to start taking photos in your community. I mean,
Absolutely. I think one of the things you can do is, I mean, as a business, you should be out in your community anyway. your potential customers should see you because presumably you are a member of that community. And so having images of you and your employees out in the community at parks, at events, being seen, I think is key to establishing trust with your clients, your
And I
customers.
also think it adds to your culture, to
Yeah,
your overall culture as a business.
right.
When you are able to do that, that's a great thing as well. Hey Mitchell, thanks for giving us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. If anybody else is on and wants to give us a thumbs up or a heart, we would be very grateful to you. Google tells us and Facebook tells us that's a good thing. So hey, okay, we'll ask for it. We'll beg for it. Well, no, I'm kidding. So another thing that I think is really, really important is people really want to see what you do. They
Right.
don't understand what you do. Not really. All right. So you go out and you're tuning up your HVAC system. Okay, they know you're doing a tune up, but they really don't know what you're doing. That's like taking your car down to a mechanic. The mechanic's tuning up your car, but if somebody said, "So what exactly did they do to tune up, your truck?" I mean, I could probably get through it because I used to have to do some stuff on my own vehicle, but nobody does stuff on their own cars these days.
Well,
So
I'll give
I would be blind talking about computers.
right. Well, I'll give you a really great example of a business owner. This is an auto mechanic. I was changing out my cabin air filter, and I hadn't changed it out on my current car, and so I wasn't sure how to do it, and I didn't want to pay the 60, $70 at the dealership to have them do it because it's a really cheap part. I go to YouTube. This auto mechanic, it's his business, but he actually went and did it's a 4 or 5 minute video, and it didn't have to take that long, but he was very thorough in how to get to the cabin air filter on my car to show me how to do it. Now, if I lived in that area, I'd guarantee I'd give that guy a call if I needed my car worked on, because he actually provided some value and showed me his expertise and what he knew.
Right.
And that's that original video part you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that he does, and he gave that value away for free.
And that's great because they really want to know what you do. They want to know how you do it. And I'm telling you, what they're really looking for is, should I hire you or not?
Right.
If they've got to hire somebody, are they going to hire you? Or are they going to hire somebody else? And so a lot of times the only way they can see and tell is through original photos and videos. I mean,
Right.
that's just it. And sometimes we're forced to use stock video, or excuse me, stock photos, and I
Mhm.
get that. But the truth is, well, I can't talk today. Stock photos, um, they're really kind of slick. They're out of touch with what's going on. Um, and I mean, it's just not something that you really have to, unless you don't have any other option. I mean, if you've never taken a photo of your business, if you've never done that, then
Yeah.
yeah, you may not have any photos. So if you're just starting out, if it's brand new and you've not done that, okay, you can use stock photos. Um, if you're so bad at taking pictures that you have zero good pictures, that you can't tell who's in it, it's blurry, all that good stuff, yeah, maybe you want to use stock photos. The other one is if you don't own a camera. And I just kind of laugh because it's like everybody owns a camera because you got one built into your smartphone.
And
So
these days, they're really good cameras on those smartphones too.
they really are.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, you really don't have a lot of excuses to not use original photos. And with that said, I'm just going to tell you, our agency, I would tell you the number one challenge we have with clients is, guess what?
Original pictures.
Getting original pictures.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's sending us original pictures. If we could just get them, it would be fantastic.
Well, I heard somebody say one time that the things that we procrastinate, which all of us procrastinate something, and I think with some of the people that we work with, what they procrastinate with is getting us images. The things that we procrastinate are the things we are afraid of.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are really intimidated by the technology. And I'm telling you, if any one of us can look at an image and see a good image. So if with the power that you have on the camera on your phone, you can put out you can give some really serviceable images at minimum, if not really great.
Yeah, and a lot of the phone technology, point and shoot. I mean, it auto corrects, it auto focus, it auto
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much auto does all kinds of stuff. So just hit the button a lot, and
right,
you come out with something that's good.
right. Snap several takes and use the best one.
That's it. That's it. So, and not to belabor the point, but I do want to say I have taken upon myself to ask other agencies, and pretty much every one of them, the number one issue they have is getting images and videos from clients. Doesn't matter what clients, whether it's blue collar or any other industry. Really, really interesting.
Yeah,
So it is a challenge for some people, and so you got to get over that challenge, because there's enough companies right now that are competing with you that are doing it, that if you're not doing it, it's noticed.
yeah.
It's noticed. So Jonathan, take this, because you do a lot with video. So if a picture paints 1,000 words, how many does a video paint?
Oh well, at least 100,000 or more. I'll say if I'm at risk of sounding like Doctor Evil with 1 million, but I feel like pictures can evoke a lot and can tell a large story, but with video, your customers get a great idea of who you are and how you come across, well, what your personality is, and that's invaluable. I mean, we have some of our clients that are just great on camera, and they're the best asset that their company can use to get that across. But even if that's not maybe something that you feel comfortable with, or you may want to take your time growing in, you want to get people personalities from your company, because your company is not just this. It's not just a concrete block that's coming to do a service. Your company is made of humans, and you've got real people that are requesting a service from you. So let them see who you are, and it's totally okay.
No, I would agree with that. I think it's more than okay.
Yeah.
You know,
In fact, it's necessary.
yeah. And it's funny, people make judgments based on photos or videos normally in the first 3 to 5 seconds. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of it they're saying you make a judgment whether you like somebody or not less than a second. So, that doesn't give you a lot of time.
No.
But so, if they stay on more than that, then maybe you can win them back. That's what I say. Maybe if I just keep talking, down the road, somebody I'll win them back and go from there.
Well,
But,
I think part of it too, just to add into that, is there's a lot of fear with getting in front of a camera. I
mm,
mean, I don't particularly enjoy doing it myself, but that's one of the things that we have to. That's one of the biggest things we have to get over as people, to express our expertise and to tell people how what we can do and to connect with people through social media, is to get over that fear. And the only way you do it, it doesn't just happen. You can't take a class to figure out how. The only way it happens is just doing it
yeah,
and
and Mitchell,
losing that sort of embarrassment that comes with
yeah,
it.
why is it worth losing that? Because of what Mitchell just put on here. Good way to build trust with customers before they even contact your business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect, Mitchell. That's awesome. Hey, Chuck, Mr. Roydhouse, thanks so much for giving us a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. It's always good to have you here, sir. The thing about videos that I like is they're really just moving pictures. So if you're okay with pictures, videos can be okay.
Yeah.
Just think of them as just moving pictures. And I think the other thing I really like about videos is how many uses, used to, and I say the olden days, 6 years ago, most videos are being used on websites. They
Right.
do on YouTube, you'd embed it on your website, and that was about it. But with phone technology, with bandwidth, with some of the stuff that all the platforms are doing, I mean, if you're not doing videos like TikTok, I mean, it's nothing but videos.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's more and more platforms like that, And because TikTok has been so doggone successful, they've turned around, and Facebook and Instagram and all these other ones are now doing really kind of I don't know what the word is, but they're doing these they're changing their platforms to kind of mimic. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh yeah, that you look at Instagram and Reels. It's
Yeah,
a copycat of TikTok.
of TikTok.
Mhm.
So they're mimicking the other company's success. And thank you, Cheryl. I love the love. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Appreciate that. Glad you guys are all here. Got a couple of other things. Jerry Eisenhower, video is where it is at in today's world. Yep.
He is not wrong. He is absolutely right.
And then this is not on topic, but just because we're glad you didn't miss us, Mark.
Good
We're
to see
really
Mark.
glad. We're glad you're here. Absolutely. But the thing that happens is once you do a video, if you know that there are multiple uses, then all of a sudden it makes video even more. It makes it more worth it. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, you can shoot a lot of different things, and there'll be a lot of stuff you think is throwaway or whatever, but you will. I've gone back and used stuff I shot 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just stuff sitting around on my phone. Like not I'm not talking about even stuff that I pulled out our camera with, but just stuff on my phone has saved my bacon more than I can say. So I mean that's the kind of thing. It's just it's you can't go wrong.
Yeah. And it does keep you really at the forefront of the competition. And that's one of the things I keep telling people. If you're not doing original photos and videos, you are being left behind
And
because
I'll
that's
say
what
this
people are used to it now.
I'll say this, Taylor. I've done some research on some people that work some of the areas of our clients, like some of their competitors. Nobody's doing a whole lot of it. I'll be honest with you. Now's a great like it's really important in general in terms of getting for consumers to see it, but not enough businesses are taking advantage of it. So I
Right.
really think that people watching this need to jump on this opportunity. I mean, it's already here. It's not a coming opportunity. The opportunity is here, but some people are missing out, and that you could get a leg up on your competition.
Well, I think that's really true. I will say that we have some really progressive clients that are all doing it.
Mhm.
But if you do break it down into individual areas, there's a lot of room. There's
Yeah,
a lot of room. And I will also tell you, every one of the progressive clients are killing it.
yeah,
I mean, and I know everybody's busy right now, but I'm talking about busier beyond your belief. It's pretty crazy.
yeah,
Hey, Jerry, thanks for the love. And I agree too. Build a video library on your website. I think that's a great idea. I think every company should be doing that. That's what they should espouse to. I
absolutely.
think that is absolutely something that needs to happen. The other thing too, and I put this in here, it really shows your personality, and then it also can show the lack of your personality. So if you're one of those owners that really, I mean, don't come off with personality on video, find somebody in your organization who does. There's
Right,
always room. You
and
can
empower
always
that
find
person.
somebody. Yeah, empower that person. Help them, get them some coaching. I mean, that's all good. And this is the other thing I get asked every once in a while. Where do I what kind of coaching should I get? If you can get in an improv group, improv is one of the best ways I've ever seen to be really good on video because you just have to be quick on your feet. And
And
it
yet you have to
teaches you
sort of
something.
drop that embarrassment that you naturally have
Right,
being in front of
right.
people.
Yeah, and it teaches you and gives you some very key phrases and things that if you need to like pause to think, there's ways that you can do that leading into the next thing that you want to say.
Right.
So I think that that's something else that we don't think that can be. The other thing I like is if you are in your community, if you are doing things in your community, oh my gosh, please, please, please take video because
Yeah.
what that shows in your community is huge, huge. So don't neglect doing video, doing original pictures. Don't neglect it.
And encourage people in your pictures and video. Encourage your customers to participate with you in that,
Yeah.
because every one of these algorithms, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, those are the two that we certainly work with the most. But they all live on engagement, and engagement is this word that gets thrown around. But basically, what it means is that people are liking, commenting, and all of that. So encourage that. Create content that encourages people to do that.
So here's a real interesting thing. Just this past week, I talked to a gentleman, potential client. We were talking about that, and here's what he asked. He said, "Every time I put something on my Facebook page that is about selling, it's like crickets. But if I put a picture of my daughter who goes to this prestigious college, I'm not going to say it on the deal because I haven't cleared it with him. Um, People come out of the woodwork, like. Same thing happens when my little dog. I put my little dog out, and everybody likes the dog. Why are they not engaging in my sales content?" And I said, "Well, because your sales content is 90% of what you have. So you ought to flip it because it is social."
Well, and to that, and also, that's one of the things that as Facebook marketers we fight against is Facebook's algorithm typically will throttle stuff like that, mainly because they're going to make money off of you selling.
Mm-hmm.
So they want you to pay to put you in front of those eyeballs. I mean, we've got a client that's got 8, 10, 12,000 likes and follows, and I'm lucky if I post something that's more salesy that gets 400 or 500 views.
Yeah.
So all those eyeballs, Facebook won't put them in front of because they want that client to pay for that.
Right.
Now, if it's more social stuff, that stuff just tends to get put in front of. So not only do your customers, are they more likely to engage in that, but also Facebook's more likely to just throw it in front of the eyeballs. So
Yeah. Interesting. But video does much better than anything else. We've also
absolutely.
noted that. So
Yep.
yeah, if you're trying to get into social, video is something that you absolutely have to do. So this is interesting. Jerry said that there's a company out there that just hired a either a retired weatherman or maybe changed jobs, don't know. But he's doing the company videos and building his skills in the chimney industry. So
Oh
that's
wow.
awesome.
Oh,
That's
that's a
awesome.
perfect guy to hire and to do your video. You couldn't do better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's got the experience of being on
Uh-huh.
camera and everything. So, we don't think about hiring somebody that may have those kind of chops to be able to help us with our business. But there you go. I
Right.
mean, right there, right there. Perfect. That's fantastic. So let's just go a little bit on the bottom line here. So this is just our advice. Okay. Our advice as a marketing company. I know y'all don't really want to take our advice, but we're going to give it to you. So we're going to do that. Here's our advice. Bottom line. If you're not using video and original pictures, okay, if you're not doing it, what that means is you're just not putting your best foot forward. And we all know you get one chance to make a first impression. So think about that. Think about putting your best foot forward.
Well, think about if the first foot you're putting forward is a stock image, they're going to think you're a scam company that doesn't really exist. Because if you look on, if every one of us have come across those websites that it's all, we don't trust them because the layout is weird and it's all stock photos. I mean, so use original pictures for that.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. That is a great point. If you're not using video and original pictures, you are falling behind in marketing because Google, Facebook, and all the rest love original pictures and video.
And let me give you, if you've heard of reverse image lookup. You think those algorithms aren't getting good at picking up when something's a stock photo and it's been on another website, even if you've renamed it and tried to strip all the digital metadata out of it? I'm telling you, original photos are going to do better.
Well, and here's the other thing. When you talk about SEO components and
Yeah,
the different things, whoever uses that stock image first wins.
yeah,
They're the one that get the credit.
and that was a long time ago,
It's
probably
a
for
long time
somebody.
ago. So if you're using original pictures, even if somebody comes in and you find out somebody, scraped it and used it, Google doesn't even honor that
Yeah,
because they know it's your picture.
right.
Saw it first there, so that's great. If you're not using video and original pictures, you're letting your competition get in front of you because they will be using video and original pictures in their marketing efforts. Because that's what every company like us is telling people. You need to use original pictures and video.
And slowly but surely, people are listening,
Hmm.
and maybe not listening's that's the wrong phrase. They're getting out of their comfort zone and doing it, and
Yeah,
those are the people that are getting ahead.
yeah. So we want you to be one of those people that are getting ahead.
Right.
So if you're not using video and original pictures, maybe it's time to rethink your reasoning and start using original pictures and video. Because
Well,
now you know you really should and you know why.
and a lot of people want an instant ROI, and you kind of got to look at this to me as an investment. Yeah, that you're going to see a few here and there that get big spikes for one reason or another, but this is an investment over time, and it's an investment of your time.
Right.
Taking the time to do it and making it part of your company culture, then you'll just have it, and you'll build this enormous library of digital videos and photos that you'll be able to use for a long time.
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really good point. Going back to Jerry's point with having a video library and creating that and housing it on your website. But even so, especially in the service businesses, as you go on about your business year to year to year, a lot of times we're able to go back into those videos and repurpose them, pull some things out, recut them, do some other things that a lot of people don't think about. So that's really, really good.
I think this is a great question. I don't know
Mhm.
if we were going to run at, but I wanted to
You're
share
good.
this from Cheryl. So, what about using the same original photo several times over a year's time? I think it can work. I think taking continual photos, I would replace them periodically just because people will get used to seeing them. But over the course of a year or a couple of months, I think you can reuse them. I've done that with stuff like Canva, where I'll go in and add a graphic to it to change it up a bit, so it's not the exact same thing. Where I'll add a graphic, a date, some sort of something, and maybe in one case it's a culture pick, but in another way, in another post, I'm using it for sales.
That also brings up a really good point, though. People expect to see you, they don't expect to see the picture of you 15 years younger.
That's right.
This happens a lot in real estate, and the realtor that I know so well, and I have laughed about this over the years, how so many people use that same beautiful picture of themselves when they were 22, 25, whatever, and now they're in their 50s and they still use the same doggone photo. And so when you meet them, it's almost jarring because it's not what you expected at all.
Exactly right.
So, you got that's the other thing is, if you're sending out pictures because you think you look better, well, the client, your customer is kind of going, that's not who I thought that was.
Right.
So you got to be careful about that, using the same photos over and over and over again. We find that sometimes those old photos don't have up-to-date equipment. They don't have the things that need to. They may not have all the up to date safety gear. And
Well,
equipment
that's a
what's going
big thing
on.
I see in the chimney
Yeah.
industry is someone like they won't have helmets and harnesses and things like that.
Yeah, but they're an older picture, and we don't use that because there's some insurance things and some things
Right.
like that. Which let me cover that real quick. That's one of the things you have to be really really careful about if you are using original photos, and even stock images. We have a client that used a stock image, and because the stock image did not have a harness, their workers' comp went up because it didn't show that they used harnesses on the roof. So that's really important that every picture you post on your website, social media, doesn't matter where, has all the safety gear. Everybody, helmets, glasses, gloves, whatever, OSHA and your insurance company deem as safety, they need to have it. So make sure that you do that as well.
And think of it as a part of your marketing. What customer doesn't love the fact that a business owner is it's important to the business owner that his employees are safe, his or her
Yeah,
employees are safe.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, Jonathan, thank you very much. Cheryl, thanks for the question. That was great. Thanks for the engagement today, guys. That was fantastic. We love that when that happens. One of the things I'll just let you know this and all of our Spark Lives can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. You can also re listen on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
If you want to do it that way and see our beautiful faces, then that's okay too. Of course, a lot of people don't really want to see our beautiful
We
faces.
have faces
All
for
right,
radio, right?
yeah, we do have faces for radio. So all that's really good. Next week, guys, just to let you know, we're going to be talking about omni-channel marketing and why you should be using it. A lot of people don't really quite understand it. We're getting into that more and more. There's reasons why you need to understand what it is, and you need to start figuring out how best you're going to use it, because omni-channel marketing really is the future, which everybody always asks me, what's next? What's next? What do you see? What's Google's going to do? What's Facebook going to do? Truth is, I have no earthly idea. Until they do it, then we find out and we try to get it. But there's just so many places now that you have to be. Omni-channel marketing is something you got to start thinking about.
Right.
So, guys, thank you so much again. Thanks for the love. Really, really appreciate that. Man, you guys are great. Mike, thanks so much for the like. Appreciate that as well. We wish you guys a very happy new year. Be safe tomorrow. Hope that the storm's coming in doesn't knock you off anywhere, and just be safe, because it's New Year's Eve. I'll be asleep. I'm pretty sure. So, but wherever you are, be safe and start thinking about how are you going to make 2022 the best year ever.
That's right.
And with that, see you next week, guys.
Happy New Year.